All right. And good day, everyone. And welcome to this session of Truly Foundation and A Course in Miracles with your host and guide and teacher and coach, Oliver Blue. And I am delighted to be here as your friend, as your brother. And oh, my wife said, own this journey together. Thank you, wife, as she waves goodbye. Well, thank you for joining us. And today we're going to move into another workbook lesson. And each time now that we move to another workbook lesson, we get so much closer to finishing this project. We're going to be looking at workbook lesson 358 today, out of the workbook for students in our course book called A Course in Miracles. A Course in Miracles. And, when we started this journey almost 19 months ago, it was actually January the 9th, 2022, when we made a decision to go through all of these workbook lessons, 365 of them. And that seemed like a insurmountable objective or goal or task at the beginning. But it has turned out for me and for a lot of you, I know, and a lot of you I don't know, but I know that this project has turned out to be so helpful and so expansive in terms of helping us I want to say this correct. These lessons have been so instrumental in helping so many people to examine what they believe and why they believe it. And if what they believe is adding to or taking away from the quality of their life. I think this whole universe has gotten to all of us over the last several years to where humanity is really getting serious about turning within and discovering and making an inquiry to discover their own self. I think these last few years have caused people to question so many ideas, so many beliefs that they have held about themselves, and they have held about others, and that they have held about life. And the Course in Miracles is just one of thousands of courses, one of thousands of resources that has been unveiled on this planet to help humanity to discover their true self, their true nature, their true identity, their true essence. And so we've been at this thing for quite a while, and it has been such a blessing to me and to those that have listened. I have heard from many of you, and I'm just so happy and grateful that I said yes to the project. And because to say yes to doing what we've been doing here at Truly Foundation, where it's all about the discovery of the real you that loves you. That's what truly means. Truly means the real you that loves you. And it's a call for all of us to discover our true nature, which is love. It is a call for all of us to embrace our true nature, which is love. It is a call for all of us to share our true nature, which is love. It's a call for all of us to let go all the limiting beliefs, to let go of all of the thoughts and the ideas that have held us captive, that has held us prison. It's time to let go of the ego thought system that has been at the root of training us to cover up our true self. It's time to let all of that go. It's time to let it go. And it's as easy as saying yes to yourself, yes to your true nature, yes to the only reality that there is. Like the Course says, only that which is real is unchangeable and unalterable. And it can't be threatened. It can't be taken away. Who you are as a creation of God, as a creation of love, who you are as a creation of reality and of truth, can never be altered. You could live 1,000,000 lifetimes and never change your nature, which is love. Never change your reality. Nothing that we do here in this three-dimensional world alters our reality. We come here to have this human experience. We don't come here to change our nature, but we come here to discover our nature, to remember who we are, to wake up to the reality of the truth of who we are, to be enlightened or to recognize that I'm not a body self. Yes, I have access to this body, this communication device that I can now use as a communication device or a way to communicate what I truly am. That's what the body is for. It's just a device for communication. It's not who we are. That car that belongs to you, that's sitting out in the driveway or down in your garage, that's not who you are. That's the car that you drive. The house that you're living in, or the apartment, or wherever you are residing, your home, that is not who you are. That's not your identity. It's just where you reside, and it's only temporary. Everything in form is temporary. Everything in this three-dimensional world is temporary. The only thing, and I've said this time and time again, I'm going to say it again. The only thing that is permanent in this world is you. The only thing that is permanent, the only thing that is eternal, the only thing that is infinite in this three-dimensional world is your true nature, which is love. And all the other made things, right? Because everything in this world has been made. The body was made. It's a part of this world. Your body was made. Your body wasn't created, it was made. But who you are at your core, at your essence, you were created. And you existed before time began. You existed before you were conceived in your mother's womb. Before the body was conceived in your mother's womb, you existed. We have shared the verse of scripture from, I think, Jeremiah chapter 1, where God spoke to Jeremiah, the prophet, and said, Jeremiah, before you were born, before you was born, He said, Jeremiah, I knew you. I knew you before you were in your mother's womb. That means that Jeremiah existed before he became acquainted with the body. Likewise, every human being that has ever appeared in this world in a flesh and blood body, that being existed before they was ever made or conceived in the body. That means that all of us existed prior to being associated with the body. All of us. And we didn't exist as separate selves or individual selves as we observe here in this world, but we existed as the one being. We existed as the one source. We existed as the one love or the one reality, the one life, the one self, the one being. And we all were created as an extension of that one being, not his bodies. If we can really sit down and understand what is being said right here, you will come to understand your true self. You will let go of all of the thoughts and all of the ideas and all of the experiences, all of the activities, all of the things that covered up this truth about you. You would just immediately just let them go. They were experiences, and that's all. They could never change you. They could never define you. They could never alter you. They were only human experiences. And many of them are negative in most cases. But we allowed ourselves to embrace them as our very own. We allow negative thoughts or limiting thoughts or deceptive thoughts to be a temporary substitute to the truth of who we are as these timeless and formless and innocent and whole and complete beings that was created. Notice now, not made, but that was created, because what God creates is just like it has to be the same as itself. That's the law of creation. That's the law of growth. In creation, there's only extension. In a temporary world where things are made, and everything that is made is temporary because it's not real in the sense that it's not lasting. It's only experiential. It's not reality. Your body is not your reality. And nothing in this world is your reality. All the things that have been made in this world have been made for you on your journey, on your exploration, on your unfolding as a part of your revolution to help you along the way. Everything here is for us. We're not here for it. It is here for us. That's why nothing in this world should dominate you, but be at your beck and command. It was made for you. You were not made for it. You are the God of this world. You are the creator of this world. You are the source of this world. Life extends from you. Life doesn't extend to you. This outer world is not what dominates this outer world. It is not what's king or queen. This outer world is basically a projection from you, from your thoughts, from your ideas. So we should be living this life on the planet from the inside out and not from the outside in. But we have been so highly trained to live life from the outside in, which is an upside down orientation, which is why you see so much confusion and chaos and destruction in the world. But here at Truly Foundation, our goal is to turn all of humanity inward facing, to finally come face to face with the Christ that you are, to finally come face to face with your true identity, to finally know that you are a timeless and formless and infinite being, that there is no beginning to you and there is no end to you. In your reality, there is no birth, there is no death. That's a man-made idea. That's a human experience. But it's not your reality. It's not my reality. It's not anyone's reality. But it becomes our experience as we give our belief and our faith and our hope and our identity over to it. See the error that we made or see the mistake that we made. And errors and mistakes can be corrected with correct knowledge, with revelation knowledge. Grace and peace can only be multiplied to us through the knowledge of the truth, through the knowledge of our true identity. Knowing that we are one with God, that we are one with creation, that we are a cause, we're not an effect. This is the correction process. This is the salvation that is guaranteed for all of us, that eventually all humanity will eventually wake up to these truths. It's a guarantee. God guaranteed it. God guaranteed the awakening of all of his creation. All of it. Love must be total. Love hasn't forgotten anyone. You have not been forgotten. We forgot ourselves. We failed to remember the truth. And that's why we are here, to remind you of the truth, to point you, to be a pointer to the truth. That's what the Course in Miracles have been given to us for, as a pointer. That's where all the spiritual documents that speaks of this oneness that we share was been given to us to remind us and to point us back to the truth. And so, as we move towards the end of completing these 365 lessons, we only have 7 more after today. And I'm taking my time getting to the end because it feels good. I don't want to rush to the finish line. I'll take my time because I have enjoyed this journey. And when we get to the finish line, when we get to lesson 365, guess what? It's not over. The Course said it is only the beginning. It's only the beginning to where, if we have applied ourselves to what we have been studying, if we have applied ourselves to the principles that has been shared here, we should have become more familiar with our inner voice. We should become more familiar with the voice that speaks for God, that is within all of us, which is our very own voice. No longer drowned it out by all of the noise all of the wranglings, all of the shrieking noise in this world, all of the distractions of this world. But we should have come to know the voice that speaks the truth for us, that is within us, and have these lessons should have cultivated that voice to where we even purposely take time to sit in quietness, in stillness, like the one lesson said. In stillness, I sit and hear the voice for God today. Because the voice for God is heard in quietness. If you have applied yourself to all of these lessons that we've been teaching over the last 19 months, you should be well acquainted with your true nature, which is love. You should be very comfortable in your skin now. You should love spending time with yourself. Loving yourself. Acknowledging yourself. Being at peace with yourself. Forgiving yourself. Seeing yourself for who you really are. And ultimately sharing yourself with all the other selves that are you. Taking your place among the saviors of the world and bringing glad tidings of great joy to all humanity through your love. And so we're finishing up this section on what am I. We have 2 more lessons on that, and then we'll move to the final 5 days, which that ending, those lessons will be like none other that we've done. And so I just want to remind you, because A Course in Miracles reminds us through these last 10 lessons that it's always been about our identity, all about who we are, what we are. And so we've been talking about what am I in these last, 8 lessons that we've been. And I have continued to reinforce this lesson on what am I. Today, I want to read just a few things out of it to remind you, and remind me, remind all of us of our true self by saying what the Course says. And remember, no book can adequately describe who we are. We're beyond words. We cannot take finite things and define infinite things, because we are infinite. Words are limited. Words are finite. But we give it our best shot, right? And so what else does the Course say about what we are? And I'm on page 479 in the Workbook for Student Lessons under the subject, what am I? Paragraph 2. It says, our use for words is almost over now. We've used a lot of words over the last 19 months. I have used a lot of words, and I have reinforced these ideas, these realities over and over and over again, because that's what it takes to renew the mind. That's what it takes to be transformed, because all of us inherited thousands and thousands of years of thoughts and ideas that were handed down to us, that are inherent to us. All of the thoughts, all of the ideas, all of the history that humanity has created, has made. But let me get my words right. All of the history that humanity has made, all of the thoughts, all of the ideas that have come down through the annal of time. We get exposed to that. We get exposed to them, good or bad. And it's our responsibility to learn and to understand what is real and what is not. And so we have to be about the practice of renewing our mind, letting go of those things that are not true and embracing only the truth. So the use for words is almost over now. It says, yet in the final days of this 1 year, but we've been at it about 19 months, almost 2 years. He said, but the final days of this 1 year we gave to God together. We did it together. If you've been a part of this, even for one day, for one lesson, you've been a part of it. Because within every lesson in the Course in Miracles is all the lessons. Within one wave of the ocean that comes to shore to express itself, within every wave is all the ocean, is all the quality of the ocean. Within every individual expression of a human being is all the expression of God. When you see the sunbeams that are projected from the sun in the form of rays or beams, within each one of those sun rays or sunbeam contain all of the nature of the sun. But you notice that the wave contracts back into the what? Into the ocean. That the beams, they retract back into what? The sun. And guess what? All of humanity, all of us, all of us return to the place that we never left, and that is the heart of God. All of us, not as bodies, but as our true nature as love. All of us. You can never be without God. You've never been without God. It's impossible. Why? Because you and God are one. You and God are one. That's a fact. It's a matter of fact. And so, in these final days, which we gave to God this whole year, or almost 2 years, it says, we found a single purpose that we all share. If we haven't learned anything over these last 19 months, we have learned that we all share one single purpose. That we all have one interest. And that one purpose and that one interest is the fact that we are one with creation. We are one with Source. We are one with God. We're one with each other. That we share the same being. We share the same self, if I could say it that way. We share the same heartbeat. We share the same air. There's so many metaphors. There are so many natural examples in the physical world that communicates to us that there's only the one. They're all around us. Everything in this world, when we wake up, we see it as one thing. And that all things are one thing. That we can look past the multiplicity of things and only see the one. We can look past all the devastation and see the reality of the love that is everywhere present. And so we have found the single purpose that we share. To wake up. We all came here in a state of sleep to wake up to the truth. And to shine forth that truth and to communicate that reality. It's called glory. That we should be to the praise of the glory of our Creator and of creation. As Ephesians 2 says, that we should be to the praise of God's glory, or to the praise of the glory of reality. We should be to the praise of the glory of love, because that is what we are. It says the truth of what we are is not for words to speak, nor to describe. Why? Because it's impossible for words which are twice removed from the truth to fully describe or to speak for who you are. We use words only temporary so we can communicate on this level. But in reality, in heaven, in consciousness, there are no words. We just are. And so the truth of what we are is not for words to speak, nor to describe. Yet, we can realize our function here. There is a purpose for our being here. There is a function and a role for us to carry out while we are here. And words can speak, of this. Words can speak of our function. And words can teach our function, which is the purpose of Truly Foundation, which is the purpose for me showing up on these sessions, is to use words to speak about our function and to teach our function. The Course says that one of our main function is forgiveness. One of our main functions is forgiveness. One of our functions is salvation. To be to embrace the fact that we are part of the salvation of this world. Because this world can only be forgiven if we forgive it. Because we're the one that has judged the world. And because we have judged the world, we can let the world go free. And when I use that term world, I'm not talking about a physical world. The Course described the world as a false identity. It is a false identity where you are concerned. It's a false self. It's a belief in a self that is not real. So when we talk about the world, we're not talking about that which is outside of us. We're talking about the false belief that we held within ourselves and about ourselves. And so we let the world go free. We let that falsity go free. And when we let the falsity of our identity go, only thing that is left is that which has always been there, which is our true identity, the true self. And so we teach and we speak of this. And our words are only good if we exemplify these words in ourselves. In other words, if we be the demonstration of our reality, if we be the demonstration of love, if we walk in love towards ourselves and towards everyone, omitting no one. Because love omits no one. Because love is one. And then it says in paragraph 3 that here it is right here, that we are the bringers of salvation. We are the bringers of salvation. We have taken our place. When you wake up, you have taken your place among the saviors of the world. And you have released the world from all the judgment, from all the pain and all the fear that you have projected on it. You release every person that you have ever held agreements about. You realize that it's not real. You realize that you was making the error real, this false identity. You realize you was making the error real. And now you realize that you no longer want to make the error real. So you release the world from that idea that you placed upon it, from that judgment that you placed upon it. Based on what? Based on a false identity, based on a conditioning. Well, we've been conditioned by this world to think a certain way, to believe a certain way, to see a certain way. It blinded the mind of all of us. To see ourselves as separate, to see ourselves as guilty, to see ourselves as sinners, to see ourselves as failures, to see ourselves as bodies, to see ourselves in limitation, to see ourselves doomed to die. All of that was a falsity. All of that was self-deception. All of that was ego mind and ego thinking to keep all of us in prison and from the truth, which robs us of all happiness, which robs us from all of the fulfillment that we could be experiencing. Look how much sadness that's in the world. That sadness is there because people don't know who they are. People are still holding the judgments about themselves and about this world. It's just not true. They're holding a false image about themselves and a false image about this world. I'm going to say this because I experienced this, and you probably have too. But I'm going to make this statement collectively for all humanity. Religion did a job on us. Religion did a job on us. And not only religion, politics has done a job on us to keep us from the truth. Humanity is waking up one by one and understanding that they are the bringers of salvation. When you wake up and realize who you are in God, who you are as the Christ, when you wake up to your innocence, when you wake up to your complete wholeness, when you are healed from the dream of separation, you will begin to shine in the reflection of this love that you are, the bringer of salvation. You will walk in the freedom that you've been given from birth. Your birthright is freedom. Your birthright is knowing yourself. Your birthright is knowing that you are sinless and guiltless, timeless and formless, that you are eternal, that you are infinite, that you are what God is, and that God is what you are. That is the truth. That is true always. That is the truth that has been hidden from humanity for many generations. And we only have passed down traditions that was not true. We have passed down ideas, wives' tales, fear-based doctrine that has held humanity captive. But the captives are being let free as one discover who they are, as one recognize their true nature. And so we are the bringers of salvation. Why? Because we have accepted our reality. And our reality is our salvation. To know who you are is your salvation. To know the truth is the only salvation that there is. Because the truth is all that there is. And so when we come to know ourselves, we now become a conduit to help others to come to know themselves. Not to proselytize them, not to indoctrinate them with another doctrine or with another religion. That's the last thing that we need in this world, another religion. No, the only thing we need in this world is to be healed from the belief in separation. That's it. And so we bring this reality and we take it everywhere we go. We become the light of the world. Like our elder brother says, that we are the light of the world. He said he was the light of the world in the moment that he was here because everyone else was asleep. But before he exited the place, he said, now you are the light of the world because I have given you the truth. I have given you the truth. I have loved you. I have shared with you the Father who loves you, the Father of all, who loves all of us. I have shown you how to pray, to say our Father, because there's only one. Holy is your name, as holy is your creation. Your kingdom come, and it has. Your will be done, and it is. On earth as it is in heaven. And God has been the giver of life, and we have been the recipient of life. So we bring this good news as the saviors of the world. It was somebody that brought a revelation or brought an awareness to you. Someone, somewhere, somehow got to you, and you woke up. And now you understand your purpose for being here. Like it says, we have all discovered that there is but the one purpose, that we all have a single purpose and a single function. And when we wake up, we become only concerned with giving welcome to the truth. We no longer are concerned about the falsity. We're no longer concerned about the lie. We're no longer concerned about the deception. We're no longer concerned about the falsity. We're only concerned about giving welcome to the truth. That is true always. And the truth is, you and God are one. When we have seen you, we have seen the Father. When we have seen humanity, we have seen the Father. The truth is, when we wake up, we see the face of Christ in everyone. Because what? We are the pure in heart, and we see God what? In everything and in everyone. Paragraph 4 says, ours are the eyes through which Christ's vision sees. A world redeemed from every thought of sin. Every thought that has ever been thought, where an individual has seen themselves as a sinner, and that word sinner basically means separated from God. That word sinner basically means that God is separate from his creation. And that it means that we were able to break ourselves apart. We were able to destroy love. We were able to undo what God did, and that's impossible. So sin doesn't even exist. We made it up, and we did a great job. We did a great job. But we can only take it so far because it's not the truth. And so our eyes are the eyes through which Christ's vision, the way we see through God's eyes or Christ's eyes or through the eyes of oneness. It's the way we see the world redeemed from every thought of sin. Our ears are the ears. The voice for God proclaim the world as sinless. I'm going to say that again. Ours are the ears that hear the voice for God, which proclaim the world as sinless. If God has proclaimed the world as sinless, how can anyone proclaim it as sinful? If God has proclaimed that you are pure and whole and complete, just like he or her or it, because God is not a he, her, or it. But if reality had proclaimed you as guiltless and sinless and innocent, who shall bring a charge against that reality? Who shall do it and be successful? It says, ours is the minds that join together, and we bless the world. We bless the world. We can only bless the world because we are blessed. When you wake up to your reality, there's no such thing as a curse. There's only the blessed. And we're too blessed to be anything else. And from the oneness that we have obtained, notice now, from this oneness that we share, from this one reality, from this one shared interest, from this one single purpose, from this one life that we all live. It is from this oneness that we call to all humanity, asking all humanity to share our peace and to consummate our joy. That's what salvation is. It's a call to all humanity to share in its reality and to consummate its reality. In other words, to have a direct experience of it, to no longer experience this separate self, to no longer experience fear and guilt and sin consciousness, to no longer fear limitations, to no longer fear all of the trappings of sin consciousness and guilt, but to enjoy and to be in joy. By remembering who you are. And so we are the holy messengers of God. Remember I said, these bodies are merely communication devices. Why? Because we have a message. There's a message to deliver. So we become the holy messengers of God, or the holy messengers of love, who speak for love and who speaks for God. That's what you have become. That's what you've been all the time. When you align yourself with the truth and carry God's love, to carry the vibration of love to everyone in whom he has sent to us. And who is everyone that God has sent to you? It is everyone that you meet. That we treat everyone that we meet with the love that we are and the love that they are, whether they know it or not. That's what the messengers of God do. We demonstrate the love that we all share. We demonstrate the reality of our oneness, so we hold no prejudices. We don't let the history of this world, we don't let the voices of this world, we don't let the deception of this world to misuse our expression, to express hate or separation or division or strife, or to judge. But we allow our expression as the messengers of God to demonstrate the light that we all share, the love that we all share. It says that we learn that it is written where? In our hearts. That we are the epistles of God, that we're the messengers of God, and it's written in our hearts. So it's a heart thing. It's not a body thing. It's a love thing. One of the famous performers has a famous song that says, "What does love has to do with it?" Everything. Love has everything to do with it, because love is all there is. When we come to know the truth, it has everything to do with it. And thus our minds are changed. We no longer think the way we used to think. We no longer perceive the way we used to perceive. We now have the mind of God, or the mind of Christ. We have now been filled with the glory. We've been filled to the fullness with that love nature. We have renewed our minds to align with the nature of love, which we all are. And so we're no longer these, appearing to be schizophrenic. We no longer participate in the hallucination or the fantasy or the vain imaginings. We no longer see from a place of separation, but we only see from the place of oneness. And thus our minds are changed about the aim or the purpose for which we came. So now we understand why we're here. We're not here just to be born or die. We're not here to be born and to die. We're not here to embrace the falsity of this world, but we are here to shine the light of love. We're here to be the light of the world. We're here to be the saviors of the world. We're here to allow our ears and our eyes and our spoken words to be witnesses of love. And thus our minds were changed about the aim for which we came and which we seek to serve. We are here for the service of God. We are here for God only. We're only here for love. We're only here for God. And we serve in love. It says that we bring glad tidings to all humanity, to all of God's creation, who thought that it suffered. Everyone that still walk the planet and think that they are suffering, to think that they are separate, to think that they are sinners, to think that they are limited, to think that they were born to die. We bring this glad tidings of great joy to all humanity who thought he suffered. Because when you wake up, the suffering is over. When you discover who you are, there's no more suffering. There's only life, and life more abundant. I'm here to tell you that's a reality. That can be your experience in the midst of all of this. in the midst of all the confusion and all the chaos. The world needs your light to shine. It needs your truth to be on display. It needs your happiness. It needs your joy. It needs your peace as a messenger of God to help yourself by helping your brother. So now is all humanity redeemed. And as we see the gate of heaven stand open before all of us, as we see the heavens open through our recognition of the truth, through our embracing of our true identity, we see all of heaven. We see heaven and earth become one. We see humanity and divinity as one. It says that we all will enter in and disappear into the heart of love, into the heart of God, into the heart of reality. This is our inheritance. That this journey that we're on is really without a distance because we hadn't gone anywhere. We've never left the heart of God. We've only dreamed of being separate. We only dreamed of being in a world of bodies. We've only dreamed of suffering and of sickness and disease and lack and scarcity and poverty and war and fighting and destruction and all kinds of madness, all kinds of things that are opposite to love. But we know that there is no opposite in love, so it had to be a dream. And when you wake up from the dream, there's a sigh of release. So if you're still feeling under pressure, if you're still feeling separate, if you're still feeling lost, or if you're still feeling weak, and if you're still feeling like you don't understand or you don't know yourself, you can end that today by embracing the truth that is true always. To know that you remain as God created you, as whole and as complete, and love as love only. This is your true identity. This is your true self. Try it, you will like it. We've tried all these other things. It only leads to more frustration. The only thing that would lead any of us to real true peace and happiness and fulfillment is the knowing of our oneness with God and with each other. That all the foolishness of this world that has been going on for all these thousands of years, trying to prove or disprove this love, is all fading away. Eventually, all of this will fade away. Eventually, everything in form will disappear. When humanity wakes up. It would no longer be needed as a teaching device. This whole world is about trying to teach us to wake up. But once it loses its purpose, once all humanity wakes up, the whole universe will just poof, disappear. You won't disappear. This universe will disappear as we know it. What do you think about that? Disappear into the what? Heart of God. And now you ask the question, well, what about me? Where will I be? And see, that's the biggest fear that humanity has. That's the reason that so many are suffering and standing on the outside. embracing their individuality, embracing their separated self in fear because we're afraid we'll lose our what? We'll lose our individuality. Well, what's going to happen to me if I disappear in the heart of God? If we're all one, if there ain't nothing but one, but what happens to John, a Susan, a Larry, a Twaquita? What would happen to Paul and Renee? What happened to our identity if we all go into the heart of God? And that's what we are afraid of. We're afraid we're going to lose our false self, this self we made. Yeah, that's our biggest fear. The biggest thing that keeps humanity from entering into the truth is that they don't want to lose their what? Ego self. They don't want to lose their ego self. They want to be known. We want to be known. We want to be special. We want to be separate. But in truth, there is no specialness. There is no individuality. There's only oneness. And we are afraid of the oneness. We are afraid of love because love is one. But there's no fear in love. So it's not love that we are afraid of. We are afraid of fear. And it doesn't really exist. It doesn't really exist. Because the moment you say yes to oneness and yes to truth, you realize that fear was just an illusion. It was something I made up. And I let it take a hold of me. And now that love has a hold of me, like the scripture says, well, there is no fear in love. Why? Because fear has torment. So the whole time we are standing on the outside, fighting for our individuality, we are in torment. And we not only in torment, but we try to torment others. And so you see why the world acted the way it did and still act the way it does. But when we embrace our oneness, when we say yes to the fact that we are one with God, I in God and God in me, there is no different. There is no separation. There's only the one. There's no longer any suffering. There's no longer any torment. So fear not. That's why Jesus said it time and time again. Fear not. It doesn't exist. You're going to be okay. Without a government name, you're going to be okay. Without a government number, you're going to be okay. Without a pension, guess what? You're going to be okay. Without a brick house, you're going to be okay. Without all your cars and all your money and all your friends and all your experience and all your prestige and all your titles, you're going to be okay. All of your experience, without it, you're going to be okay. Because none of those things, you notice none of those things follow the body. Have you ever seen everything that someone had accumulated in their life follow the body into the ground? It certainly can't go over into reality. In that form, it can't, at least. See, these are all the things that we're not sure about, we don't know about, and it keeps us in torment. It keeps us in fear because we've been taught all of these fear-based ideas about our future, about our past, about our judgment to come, about the second coming, the third coming, about the judgment. With all these fear-based doctrines have been taught us and have put man in a place of fear, imprisoned him in his own thinking, his own making. But we're here to set the captives free. We're here to loose you from the chains, from the imprisonment of your own making, of our own making, and to embrace the truth that is true always, which is where our freedom is. Like Jesus said, what the truth? He said, who the Son basically is the truth. He said, who the truth sets free is free indeed. And there's nothing like the freedom that is your inheritance. Now, you don't have to wait down the road. You can be free right now as you embrace your reality. As you say boldly, as God is, so am I. As the writer said in 1 John. As God is, so are we in this world right now. Well, how is he? We've been talking about that in these last 10 lessons. But you have to embrace it for yourself. It's called the awakening. It's called enlightenment. It's called the new birth or the rebirth. And so, workbook lesson 358, as I close, I'm just going to read through this. It'll make a whole lot of sense. I won't have to do a lot of commentary on it. Lesson 358, no call to God can be unheard nor left unanswered. No call. When you say yes to the truth, you cannot be unheard and you cannot be unanswered. Why? Because you're speaking to yourself. You're speaking to yourself. You and God are one. And of this, we can be absolutely sure that the answer that we get is the one that we really want. God always, love always, reality always, the universe always answers us in truth. The world may not. But the voice that speaks for God, it always answers in truth. Ask and it shall be given. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be open unto you. That's what it means here. For anyone that asks shall be given. To anyone that seek, they shall find. And anyone knock, it shall be open. What shall be open? The truth of who you are, your true identity. It is not hid from you. It is reserved for you. Christ is you, the hope of glory. The mystery that was held back in time past has now been revealed to all humanity. That is Christ, that is you. Paul said, Christ in you. I'm taking it further. Christ is you. God is you, and you are God. That is your freedom. That is your salvation. That you are sinless and guiltless. But you are innocent and whole and complete. There's nothing wrong with you. You remain as God created you. That's the truth. That is the answer that the voice that speaks for God will share with us. And it's the answer that we really want. And it's the voice that speaks for God, who remember what we really are, alone. And it remembers what we really want. That inner voice in you, that still small voice that speaks for God that's inside of all of us, the one voice that we all share, it remembers alone what we really want and what we really are. It speaks for God. It speaks for love. And it speaks for us. because we're one with God. And what it gives us comes of God itself. The voice of the Father and the voice of the Son is the same. Let me say that again. The voice of God and the voice of humanity is the same. So what are you saying? What are you putting behind the I am that you are? Is it the voice for God? How are you speaking to your neighbor? Is it the truth about your neighbor? It says the voice that speaks for God, our Father, then is my voice as well. And all I want is what this voice offers us in just the form that it has chosen, that is to be mine. Subconsciously, it is God who is at work. Subconsciously, you may not be consciously aware of it, but it is love who is at work to will and to do of its very own pleasure. Everything is working for your good. It may not feel like it, it may not look like it, but I'm here to tell you, every single solitary experience you've ever had in life is working towards your awakening. That is the good. Your awakening is the good. Your enlightenment is the good. Your salvation is the good. God is using everything in life that you have chosen and turning it around for your good, to wake you up, to wake me up. So as much as we may feel that we are in control of things, it is love which is at work within all of us to will and to do of its good pleasure. So God got you. God got me. God got all of us. In the most heinous situations, in the most diabolical situations, and there are many, and there's been many. There's been so many things that have happened in this world over time that seem like God is dead and God has forgot his creation. But it's not true. All of these shenanigans and foolishness must run their course. They must run their course. And when you awake to that reality, you don't pay any attention to the shenanigans. You don't pay any attention to the devastation. You look right through the devastation and remind your mind that what it sees is not the truth. It is not real. And so you don't lose your sanity. Many people are losing their sanity because what they look upon the world and what they see, they believe that it is real. And listen, it is very depressing. It's enough to drive people insane. And it has. But even in that, God is at work within all of us to will and to do, to wake us up. And so it says that in whatever form that is required or necessary for us individually, the universe, the plan, the purpose brings it to us in the form that we need. So there's no worries, man, regardless what it looks like on the outside. That's only a temporal world. The scripture says we look not on the things in the temporal world, but we look at the things in the inner world. For the things in the temporal world They fade away. They're temporary. But the things in the inner world, the things in reality, the things of love, they are eternal. And that one thing that is eternal is your true identification. And so let us remember all that we do not know. And let our voice be still, remembering. But let us not forget the love and the care that is ours, keeping the promise to God's creation, hold and fast to that which is the promise of God. In our awareness, always. That's why the renewing of the mind is so important. Keeping the promises of God, keeping the reality of love in our minds always, in our awareness always. And when we forget, we remind ourselves of who we are. It says, let us not forget that of ourselves, of our false self, of our made up self, of our personal history and personal identity, and of our government name and government number. He said, let us not forget that that self that we made is nothing. But the self, the big ass self that God created, is all one. And we all share that oneness. We all share that one big ass self. Even God shares it with us. Isn't that amazing? That's no longer a mystery. The cat has been let out of the bag, and now we know. Wow, what a lesson. Thank you so much for bearing with me, for being here with me. Hopefully, I have said something, and I know I have, that turns you inward. Turn you away from the false self and turn you inward to come to know the true self that you are. Here at Truly Foundation, we call it the real you that loves you, because the real you is love. We'll be back soon for lesson 359. Like I say, we're taking our time. We're not in a rush. Take our time to get through these next 6-7 lessons. We're going to cruise to home plate. Yes, we are. Thank you so much. We will be back. Have a great day. Until next time. Bye-bye.